I worked at the Grand Rapids Public Library as a PhD student, and this guy calls up my superiors then, Dick Harms and Gordon Olson, and says, I found this copy of this newspaper with the library, I like it. And of course, we do backflips because nobody had seen a copy of the paper before.
And looking to see if we could find other copies of this, I realized that we did not have the Michigan State News. No libraries in Michigan had the Michigan State News. There were black newspapers in Michigan right after the Civil War. There were at least 8 by the time the Michigan State News was published. But because these weren't saved, they were, forgotten.
Well, back in 2024, we got a really interesting call from a donor named Roger DeHaan. He had this interesting donation offer. It was these printing blocks that he had found in a home that he owned. They were stored in this small little wooden box. Inside the box, though, it was lined with this newspaper. And it turns out it was the Michigan State News. As we sort of started getting into the research, we learned how historically significant this paper was and also how rare it was.
George Smith wanted his paper to join this expressions of black newspapers that were being run all over the place. In the copy that the library has, there's an editorial. What Smith is saying is that black people are diverse, a diversity of opinions, ideas. He is also on record as being one of the founding members of the early NAACP here in 1919 as the charter member.
As part of the museum's role in the community, we work to preserve our collections. The copy that the museum has from 1924, it's actually incredibly fragile, so we scanned it as a way to safekeep it, make sure that it's safe and secure for years to come.
As a library and as an archives, one of the roles that we play here is to hold cultural memory for our community and the whole of experiences in the community, and especially those of groups that have been oppressed or marginalized, like the African American community in the 1920s.
Anybody out there in social media land, we are always looking for copies both at the Grand Rapids Public Library and also the Grand Rapids Public Museum. They tell a story about our community as well, a very, very important story.